everybody out there. My name is Sarah Feingold, joining you all from Brooklyn, New York, and I'm proud to work on the ASCAP marketing team. I see you all out there networking and sending us questions in the chat box. We love them. Thank you so much. So let's keep it going into our next conversation. The next program deconstructs the latest #1 pop earworm, Stuck With You by Ariana Grande and Justin Bieber. We're so lucky to have the song's co-writers, Whitney Phillips and Gian Stone, joining us to give us the inside scoop on how the song came together, co-writing remotely during the coronavirus pandemic, and to answer all your other burning questions. Let's welcome Whitney Phillips, Gian Stone, and ASCAP membership rep Jody Klein for the anatomy of a song, Stuck With You.
Hi, everyone.
What up?
And my computer just went out. I'm so sorry. There we go. Anyways, hi, everyone. Welcome to the ASCAP Experience. I'm so excited to be here today with Gian and Whitney. Whitney Phillips took her passion for Mariah Carey and all your passion for storytelling and became the prolific songwriter that you are today, working with Celine Dion, Christina Aguilera, Fifth Harmony, Lil Wayne, Kylie Minogue, the list goes on. And we also have the quadruple threat, Gian Stone. He's not only a songwriter, but he's also a producer, a vocal producer, and an engineer. And you've worked across in all those capacities with some of the biggest names in music, including Maroon 5, Dua Lipa, Selena Gomez, and Katy Perry. So needless to say, I'm very excited to talk today. And yeah, I want to get started and dive right in if that's good with you guys.
For having us, Jody.
Yeah, thank you. It's so exciting.
Yeah, so my first question is for Whitney. Tell us about how the song first got started in the session. I heard or I read on Billboard that you guys were actually in your PJs on a Zoom session. Is that true?
It's debatable. Yeah. I feel like I was wearing pajama pants at the very least, but maybe like presentable from the top up.
Okay.
Well, I TBD on that. But yeah, no, we had a Zoom session scheduled. Gian, Freddie, Skylar, myself. We've worked together plenty of times before and are really good friends. So we hopped on Zoom and it was our first Zoom session. And it was
Wow. Okay.
It worked out.
Very first Zoom session for all of you?
No, together. I think I had done like a couple. We wrote it like early April. So I think I had done like a handful of them before, but it was our first, I think it was my first Zoom session with 4 people.
Yeah,
so,
wow.
There was a lot of like muting and talking over each other, but we figured it out.
Yeah. Actually, that reminds me, I wanted to ask Gian, so with production, because normally in a typical session, you're going to be in the studio with people. And so you're able to kind of produce simultaneously as the song is being written. How did you handle that with going on Zoom?
Basically, I think that what had happened was usually like with these Zoom sessions, because you have this latency between like, because of the video and whatever, I'll try to prep like 1 or 2 chord progressions before the session. So I think I played them. Nobody liked them as usual. No, I'm kidding. And Freddie had this concept, Stuck With You, and we all started kind of talking about how it'd be cool to write a song for this moment. And then Whitney was like, yo, we should do some like 6/8 kind of feel good, like slow dance vibe. So I think I just picked up a guitar and I just started playing that kind of chord progression riff thing. And I was like, does everybody hate it? And they're just like, no, it's good. Okay. And I'm like, okay, good. And they all started coming up with, melodies and we all started singing. And I just recorded that super like scratch Fender Strat guitar right into my computer. And I was like, oh, I'll redo it later. Like, it's just like DI, whatever. And ended up sticking and sent it to them. And we all just started writing melodies and discussing the concept. And as Whitney said, muting ourselves, being like, oh, I got something, singing it, unmuting. So yeah, it was really like, yeah, exactly. So
the Tiger King in the background, like the whole time.
Oh yeah.
That was the influence on stuff.
Yeah.
Like
but yeah, it was pretty wild. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, Whitney, you're really big into concepts and you really care about the architecture of the song. Did you kind of come in knowing that was what you're going to write about would become kind of a quarantine anthem, or was that just spur of the moment?
Well, like Gian said, it's so funny because earlier that morning, I remember I do this like morning drive up to like Mount Olympus because I'm in West Hollywood. So I do this just like get out of the house. I always just drive around and think of concepts and things I want to talk about that day. And I was thinking, like, should we write a quarantine song? Like, it was like early on, and I was like, is it corny or is it cool? Like, I wasn't sure. And then we got on our session, and Freddie was like, you guys, stuck with you. And I was like, all right, well, this is how it
Yeah.
and we just go all in. And I kind of, it's funny because I actually was having that same word, like stuck together or whatever, was running through my head that day. So felt very like meant to be. And I was like, boom, let's just roll with that.
Yeah.
So
it's so interesting how you did that, because I do feel like it could have gone corny so fast. Like if you're intentionally coming in, you're like having wiggle room and you're like, this is what we're gonna do. It kind of takes that creativity out of it. And I feel like you guys did such a good balance of creating something that is a quarantine, like it definitely will remind us of this time and how we're all feeling, but at the same time can be a classic for the rest of time. Like it doesn't have to always relate to this one specific time.
Totally. And I think Gian will attest to this. We really pushed to make the lyric very classic and not like we wanted to do a sign of the times record, but we wanted to do something that could transcend this time, that would be just like a great love song, like a year from now, or, you know, a song that would make you think back to quarantine and feel nostalgic or.
But the good part of the nostalgic, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah. As I mentioned, Gian, you're one of your many tricks that you do. You also are a vocal producer. And I was wondering, when you guys wrote this song and you and Whitney worked on the vocal production, did you have Ariana and Justin in mind? Like, did you at all foresee that this could be a duet between the two of them?
I don't think we necessarily saw the duet idea until later. I think it kind of started out as like, you know, when we were writing it, and it's kind of this like feel good, you know, Motown inspired song. So it was kind of like, who could really deliver that vocal? That was really the thing. It's like, who could sing this song, you know? And we had Whitney cut a demo. We had our good friend Blush cut a demo. And we sent it to Ari's team just somehow. And she cut it that night. And it was just the craziest thing, because we're like literally doing notes via text messages. Like she's sending us these voice messages, and she's like, she's recording herself at home, and which is like nuts. And she's like, how's this sound? And we're like, this is great. And we're all like freaking out. Like I'm in Whitney, like, this is nuts. Ari's cutting it. And then she was the one who was like, yo, I think this could be amazing with the male singer. So we all started thinking of names, and she's like, do you mind if I send him to Justin? And we're like, yeah, okay, fine. And you know, and you know, two days later we were mixing it with Josh Goodwin, and that was it. But yeah, it was I don't think we saw, you know, the stars really aligned for us, and we're super grateful, I think. So, yeah.
It's pretty crazy, because I feel like, and as we all know, like sometimes you write a song and it can be on hold, or it can be not even placed for 6 months to years later. And like the fact that this song came within weeks, it sounds like it came from creation to actually being released. Do you like, how is that different, I guess, from all your other experiences with all the other songs that you have?
I mean, I feel like it's ruined me forever. Like if somebody just doesn't take a song right away, I'm like, over, you know? But no, I mean, yeah, I've never had a song go this fast. That's for sure. But I think there's something to be said for just where we're at in the world. Like, of course, like everybody's just at home at their computer. So it makes total sense. But
yeah, you had a quote, I think it was actually in Billboard, that you said something about that you'd been working for like 10 years, and it was like, felt like false starts, but then it was like 2 seconds to light a fire. Like, it was that in particular with this song, like all of a sudden, you know, you have so many.
100%. Yeah. I mean, it's like, the irony is like not lost on me that we spend all this time out in the city running around to these like multi-million-dollar studios and, you know, in and out working with artists. And it really took the entire world slowing down into a pandemic for us to just write something where we felt completely at home and completely in our own space. You know, and just to write something that would go number one, like what? It's bizarre. And it's like, yeah, I think that this industry just eventually will give you like some open field to run. And it's just like, when it does, you just like better be still going, you know, and luckily we were, so.
Yeah. Did it feel the same for you, Gian?
It totally feels the same. I mean, I think it's like that, you know, Malcolm Gladwell's idea of 10,000 hours. I think that's like just the start of where you like start to, you know, and it's, you know, I think also so much of this song is like what this song also taught me, and seeing the genius of Scooter Braun too, like just how you kind of create a moment around a song. And I think you could do that on like any, you know, kind of level, whether you're just starting out or whatever. It's just like creating these moments, creating these spaces for these songs and for these ideas. And I think that, as Whitney said, we kind of like just had this kind of open field that day where we weren't necessarily like, okay, this artist is looking for a song or this artist. It was just like, yo, let's just write something that we like really want to say, that really connects with where we're at personally, you know, and whatever. And I think that, you know, the prep work was those tens of thousands of hours to feel comfortable, I guess, like just saying, cool, we're not going to try to write an up tempo banger today. We're just going to try to write some feel good shit for us, you know? So yeah, but it's definitely felt like a long road. And I think it's, you know, a very long road ahead still.
Yeah.
Obviously you guys have actually proven that during these times and the stay-at-home orders, you can actually have quite a bit of success writing from home. Obviously, with this song going to the Hot 100 #1, like right out the gate. Obviously, there's hurdles that you have to get over and there's challenges and you have to adapt. But do you think moving forward, since you've seen success, that there'll be some good things that come from this? Like any part or new processes that you do now that might be used in the future, even after we go back to normal?
G?
I think, I mean, I think it's interesting. The Zoom sessions are not the most fun. Like they're definitely not like, you're not in a room just like, you know, ordering food and like, there's definitely an energy that's different. But I think the process of writing, it's like, it's almost a little bit more curated. I think, especially when you're working with somebody new for the first time, everybody's kind of nervous and everybody's trying to like throw out ideas so they prove themselves to be valuable in the room. And you know, it's these insecurities that we all have as writers. And I think that going forward, this process of Zoom, it's like there's so much like muting yourself and only unmuting yourself when you have a good idea. It's not like, you know, so many times when you're in the room with I mean, Whitney and Skylar and Freddie, they're all like so incredible with melodies and ideas. It's like there's just so many to sort through kind of you know, when you're in the room with everybody. But this is kind of cool because this way it's like, I don't know, it's less distracting. There's not as many melodies being thrown around. You can kind of just like focus on what's kind of being thrown out there. And I think that process, just in how it's created and the whole idea of sending files back and forth or whatever, I think there's something cool about it. It's not as fun, but I think there's something really cool.
Yeah, I second all of that. It's made songwriting and just like doing sessions more deliberate. Like you're very deliberate with your ideas. You're just more dialed in, you know? It's like, there's not a lot of distractions. So it's like, you're definitely just here and you're here just to write the song. And of course we have fun and stuff, but it just makes it very efficient.
Yeah.
Yep.
So with efficiency, do you feel like any pressure to be doing multiple Zoom sessions a day, or do you feel like have you kept to your same standard of like one? Because you know, there's a lot of people that might be like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to knock this out in 2 hours. Like, let's keep going. How do you feel about that?
No, screen time ends for me.
Okay.
I'm like, I tap out. There's like, it's not just Zoom. Like, there's a lot of FaceTiming going on, and like, I feel like I'm constantly like looking at a screen, talking to somebody, which has been great for quarantine. But like, yeah, I got to tap out at one Zoom session.
Yeah, that makes sense. Speaking of trying to find balance and like tapping out and finding out when you need to, you know, not be on screen time, not be on FaceTime, all of that, like this is a time obviously of isolation, and I think that you guys wrote what you felt and you wanted to uplift people. But how do you deal with it day to day? Like, have you incorporated new habits or routines that have allowed you to stay creative? Because obviously as a songwriter, that's your bread and butter. You want to stay creative. So I would assume that you would need to work on mental health, or like walks or doing things that kind of help you stay in the zone?
What?
I feel like the less mentally sound I am, the better songs I write sometimes. Maybe take it away, Gian.
I eat as much pasta as possible during this quarantine. That keeps me sane. It's about it. I mean, it's weird. It's like, I think because everybody knows that you're always at work, because now work is at home, people are hitting you all the time for things, and it's kind of like almost more nonstop than it was before. But
100%.
yeah, you try to take walks every once in a while, but I think pasta is the key.
Pasta is the key. And obviously everyone knows everyone's at home, but how do you set those boundaries? Or do you?
What do you mean? Like, how do you go?
The boundaries of, like, if everyone knows you're at home all the time and they're constantly hitting you up for new material or to work on something, like, how do you set that boundary for yourself of being able to have balance?
Send in the voicemail. No. No, but yeah, like, kind of, I feel like there's always an opportunity for people to like start a session, or, me and my friend Harlow, we'll just be like talking on the phone, and she'll be like on her piano, and she'll just like say something, and then I'll say something, and then before I know it, we're just like writing a song. And I was like, whoa, like I have to be somewhere in 15 minutes. Like, what the hell is going on? But it's just, there's no rules in quarantine, like it's a lawless time. I don't know.
Lawless. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
We're going to turn to some questions from the audience. Is that okay with you guys?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay, so question is for Whitney. What is the key elements, in your opinion, to writing a great song?
That's my garbage truck, if you guys can't hear me. No, sorry about that.
You're at home.
The leaf blower around here in a second. Say it again. What's the essential?
Oh, yeah, all good. So what is the key elements, in your opinion, to writing a great song?
Like, just being really real and being honest. I'm all about the God honest truth, even if it's not like a flattering thing. So it just has to be authentic. I feel like people always run a smell test and an authenticity check on music and you as a person, so I just want to keep it as true to true to the bone as possible with lyrics. But I don't know, as much energy as I give lyrics. Does anybody hear this? This is
Okay.
As much energy as I give lyrics, like melody is like, it's really everything. Like, if I'm not invested in it melodically, like that lyric better be really, really effing good.
Yeah.
Amen.
Do you have anything to add?
Nope. You just gotta feel honest. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. So next question is, how do you start a writing session? Do you start with a theme, or does someone kick it off with questions for the group?
Well, I think this one, yeah, like as Whitney said, I think she was marinating around this idea of a quarantine song. We all were, but I think in general, and Whitney, feel free to jump in, but I think it's sometimes people come in with something they want to say, or sometimes it's like those conversations where you just kind of sit in a room or sit on Zoom for 30 minutes, catching up, talking. Oh, I'm going through the same thing that you're going through, like whatever. And somebody says a phrase and they're like, yeah, do you want to write that today? And it's like, or you just kind of play some chords and you just kind of see what happens. But I also think some days you're not really supposed to write a song. And that's okay too. Like if you're listening for an hour, 2-3 hours, and you're not having fun, you're not feeling inspired, either say, hey, let's jump back on in 30 minutes or an hour, let's get some food, or like, hey, let's call for today. We'll get it next time.
Yeah,
so
I agree with you.
That's like the perk of working with your friends. Like,
exactly.
You don't have to perform.
Mm-hmm.
Just be like, I'll see you in 30 minutes. Click the link.
Yeah, I agree. When I was engineering back a million years ago, we were in the studio basically every day, almost 6 days minimum a week. And I just felt like there were times where we had, the songwriters and producers that would get very burnt out of this repetitiveness. And I do agree with you. Like, if you're not feeling it, if you need a break and you don't feel that creatively, like, you have to take time for yourself and you have to give your mind that space so that you can come back to it. because or else it will feel forced for sure.
But I think there's something to be said for pushing through, because you make yourself resilient and you make yourself kind of this, I don't know. I mean, I feel like that's how you make yourself a prolific writer, is learning how to create when you don't want to create and tapping into a part of yourself, you know, like an actor would do when they're just like playing a part. That's a muscle that you have to build for yourself as a creative. Same time.
Speaking of that, so if you are in a situation like that, which I'm sure many of the songwriters writing or like listening to this are, like, how do you push through? Like, what gives you that motivation, or are there any techniques that you implement that help you push through to that next like creative moment?
Gee.
I mean, I think taking breaks, I really do, but also I think just focusing on other elements. Like, you know, sometimes if you're getting stuck on a lyric, like, yo, let's figure out like the, you know, the bridge melody, or yo, why don't you start cutting the verse that we have so far, and then like, you know, and we'll see if something inspires a pre-chorus, or, you know, I think that they're little tricks, or, you know, just like, yo, what if we change the chords of this song, or, you know, I think they're little things, but I really am a believer. Like, sometimes you just got to take a step back for 5 minutes and just step outside and, you know, not think about it, or just, you know, call your mom or whatever, you know? But yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Next question actually says, how do I take my songwriting to the next level? Also, how do I pitch my song ideas to better songwriters?
You gotta get in the room with people that are better than you.
Yeah.
That is the only way to learn. You got to make yourself super uncomfortable and make yourself really scared. And that is the only way to learn how to, I think, be in those caliber of rooms. And to go to the next level, you have to you got to go before you feel like you're ready, you know?
But
I think to add to that too, I 100% agree. And I think also just like, I think so much of songwriting is just knowing yourself and being honest with yourself and being secure with yourself and who you are, and allowing you to just be you. And I think so much of that is just like working on yourself outside of the writing room, you know, just, yeah.
So true.
We have another question. I'm a 69-year-old songwriter. Is there any place for me in current music?
Hell yeah. Good song's a good song. Good artist is a good artist.
I'm a 69-year-old songwriter. Like, I feel like age does not matter. Like, I am so sick of the whole age thing. Like, I don't give a shit, excuse me, like how old the writer is of an incredible song. I would never care about that. I do, like, performers that are just killing it, especially like women. Like, I don't care how old Gaga is. I don't care how old Beyonce is. Like, if you're doing something that affects me and impacts me, that's all I care about. And I feel like a lot of people would agree with that. Right, G?
I think there's also, yeah, no, I fully agree. And I think there's also something to be said for, like, you know, if let's say your head, like, I grew up, you know, in the 90s, and I still love 90s music and all this stuff I grew up on. It's like, that's always ingrained in me, you know, and what may be 69, I don't know what year that equates to, but like, let's say you grew up in the 70s or 80s, it's like, you have this thing that's so true to the 70s and 80s, and so much music, you know, every few years we get like, okay, now we're doing a lot of 80s stuff right now in the world. So like, if that shit's authentic to you, like, let's do a session. I'll try to figure out how to like make that a little bit more like that, you know, today, whatever, but it's like, that shit's awesome. I want some of those vibes, you know, like, it's authentic.
It's true. And honestly, like, just to finish off that point, with age comes a perspective that you cannot get from a young writer. You've lived life. You have processed emotions like nobody else has. That is invaluable.
Totally. Agreed.
So true. I actually was wondering, do you guys have a little bit of advice, or obviously a lot of people watching today and listening in are aspiring songwriters and producers, and I would love to know if you guys have any advice or words of wisdom to leave with them today.
What?
I mean, just keep going. Like, that is like, I say all the time, like, it took me, been writing for 7 years professionally, and obviously been doing it for so much longer just as a hobby, but it's a game of talent, but it's really not. Like, it's a game of tenacity all the way, and just keep going, because you might, like I said, catch some open field, and like when that happens, better still be going hard.
Yeah, you have to be ready for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree. And I think, you know, being kind to people around you, being a good person, if you're spending 10 hours in a room with somebody writing a song, like, nobody wants to be in a room with somebody who's a jerk for 10 hours, even if they're like the best writer ever. So I think, just working on yourself, just treating people right, and also just making music that you want to make, and not necessarily paying attention to, the sounds of today. Like, and I think with, this song as an example, it's like, it just felt right to us, and it's not necessarily like the most upbeat blah blah blah, but it's like it felt right, and it connected. So I think just being honest, with who you are, what you like, and the rest is gonna work out. And just pushing, as Whitney said, just push. It's the long game for sure.
Totally.
Yeah, it's so true, and I agree with both of your guys' points. I feel like it is tenacity. You have to take that. You have to work every single day, so that when you do, you like increase your surface area for luck. So when those moments happen, like, you can take it running. And then along the way, like, you really have to be kind to people, because you're going to see the same people on the way up, on the way down, and vice versa. And
100%.
you never want to be that person that's like, someone's gossiping about, or someone had a bad experience. And because people remember that. And I think and I'm sure you guys know, like, being in the studio, it's a very intimate experience. And so, like you said, Gian, like, being with someone 10 hours a day, like, no one wants to spend that time with someone who you don't get along with, or that you don't like, or, like,
Yeah.
no matter how talented they are.
Totally.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would love to actually get the audience some information about you, on like where they can find you after this, if they want to connect. I was thinking maybe you guys could provide your Instagram handles, if that's the best way to do it.
Yeah,
Yep.
Gion's Instagram is blowing up right now.
Is it?
Gian was just like the #1 producer in the world, I think,
Yes.
last week. Was that right?
Yeah.
Billboard
Yeah.
top producer
I'm paid.
#1. It's
It happened.
amazing.
Thank
But
you. Yeah.
actually,
Our
I have
Instagram.
Instagram as well, Whitney, because I saw you posted when you guys got the #1, or I don't even think, maybe you didn't have the #1 yet, but you posted a video of, I think, Gian and the whole crew going out to a
Yeah.
parking lot, safely social distancing with your masks on, and just listening to the
Special.
song on 102.7, I think it was. And
Yeah.
I loved it. I felt your energy through.
Oh.
that.
Yeah, I couldn't play it cool. I was like, here I am freaking out. Like, it was
Like-
unreal, such a special moment. But yeah, I mean, Instagram, you can find me at I am Whit Phillips, and that's my Twitter. And I'm not really on Facebook, so
It's okay.
I only do Instagram. So Gian Stone, Gian. Yeah. Hit me up.
Perfect. That sounds good. I already follow you guys, so I'm already there.
yeah. And I mean, for like any new writers, if they want to, I personally listen to people's music if they want to, like, if they ever want like feedback or anything like that. I know that that's like super important. So I always say just DM me like a Dropbox link, so I can just like click it and listen to it right away. And I try to like check my requests and just like, at least give some feedback. So I'm happy to do that.
Oh yeah.
Love that. I love that you do that. I think it's so important to give back, and
Absolutely.
like, not everyone sees that, but you're just a special human in general. So I really appreciate that. And thank you guys so much for being on this. I'm really happy that we were able to get together today. So
Yeah, thank
Thank
you
you.
for having
That's
us.
awesome.
We love ASCAP, and
Love
thank
asking.
you so much for doing this and still like making it work through the circumstances. Like, it's just awesome.
the trash can or trash man.
Yeah.
Yeah, the leaf blower. Yeah.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. We learned so much from this. This was amazing. You guys absolutely slayed it. Everybody out there in the audience, tell us what you think at ASCAP on Twitter and IG.